Congratulations for successfully finishing this course on Coreal Painter 12. This course is really introduced you to all of the fundamental functions of working in Coreal Painter. Now, that's not to say that we covered everything, because there's still another course that I plan on doing for VTC. However, we did cover a lot. And of course, the user interface was my primary focus here. I wanted to make sure that we understood how to use all of the various different elements of the user interface. So of course, to begin with, when we look at things like our brushes and our variants. So if we come over here and we look in our categories and our variants, you'll find that we have all those JSON brushes that I gave you, as well as the brush library Painter brushes, which is the default Coreal Painter 12 brushes, and then all the Painter 11 brushes, which come as part of the default install. You've got a lot of brushes to start you off with. In addition to that, we've also learned how to use all of the tools in the toolbar. And as you can see, there's lots of tools there. We've got our selection tools, we've got our shape tools, we've got our text tool, we've got our cloner tools, burn and dodge, our mirror painting and kaleidoscope, our divine proportion, layout grid, and perspective grid, and our various different navigation tools. In addition, we've also learned how to use papers, which is a tremendously powerful tool for working in Coreal Painter for natural media emulation. We've also learned about how to use things like our navigator. We've also learned how to use things like our color palette, and don't forget about our temporal color, which is Control-Alt and 1. This is a very useful tool as well for picking colors. And of course, the other thing that you have learned is how to use color sets, which are tremendously powerful if you're working in any kind of print production workflow where you need to be working with colors that are going to be applicable for CMYK. Now, in addition to that, we also learned how to use the mixer, which is really great for working with tools like what I did here, which is the artist oil based brushes. And of course, I used all of my impasto variants that you find right here in our impasto category of the JSON brushes to create this quick little oil painting sketch. So certainly something that gives a very naturalistic, real traditional media look using the mixer. We've also learned how to use our layers, which are tremendously powerful, and our channels, which of course tie back into our selections. In addition to that, we've learned how to use most of these menu items. Now, I did consciously skip over a couple really important menu items for the most part, one of them being the effects menu. There's a lot of stuff under this effects menu that we didn't cover, and the reason why is because it really deserves time of its own, particularly things like our mosaic, which can create whole works of art on its own. So it's a completely unique medium, just like using impasto brushes or watercolor brushes. You make mosaics. But again, this isn't something that I could cover because I'm already past my time for how long this course can be. And then under movie, we have the ability to create animations, meaning that we can create whole movies within Coreal Painter. This is a really, really powerful function. And again, it deserves its own time. But we had to know all of the fundamental things of how to use the user interface before we got into these more advanced functions. Another thing that when you're puttering around the user interface here for Painter is you might come across this brush control panels. And if you look in here, you're going to find that there are just tons and tons of palettes within all these various panels. And you can see that each of these has a lot of options. All of these options are interrelated to each other. And this is how you customize or create brand new brushes for working in Coreal Painter. And I highly recommend that you check out my next Coreal Painter training series, which will cover all of the various different panels and palettes that you see in here, because these will enable you to become a true power user of Coreal Painter, because the brush engine of Coreal Painter is really the star of the show. It's the thing that makes Coreal Painter superior to most other graphic applications, is that you can make a brush that can do almost anything that you could possibly imagine.